This is a preview of version 3 of my very own working Dr. Octopus suit. Doc Ock is a classic Spider-Man villain, and as an engineer, he might just be my favorite villain of all time. I think it's probably just because all engineers are obsessed with robot arms. I've been working on this project for over 2 years, and through 3 different versions of suits, and it's been a crazy journey to get to where I am now. But before we get into any of that, I want to go back and explain why I'm doing this in the first place. After watching Spider-Man No Way Home, I was psyched about Doc Ock. So I went on YouTube to see what cool Doc Ock suits people had already made. But none of these were really satisfying to me. They were either too slow, didn't work well, or were purely aesthetic. And while as a viewer, that was disappointing, as a creator, I took that as a challenge to make something better. My main goal here was to make 4 mechanical arms that have full range of movement, while still being light and small enough to fit on my back. As well as having full range of movement, I wanted these robot arms to be fast. I mean, what's the point of robot arms if they're literally the speed of your average sloth? I want some full speed, take your head off, absolutely terrifying arms like these. And after a lot of failures, I finally got the first arm working. You can see that it definitely moves very quickly, but is very hard to control. And you might think, oh whatever, it doesn't actually matter how hard it is to control as long as it works. And that's kind of what I thought too, until I tried to play ping pong with it, and it did not go well. Okay, alright, and we've got the world's worst ping pong robot. You ready? He has some delayed response time, but we still love him. Done. Yay! That was pathetic, I'm not gonna lie. As you can see, how you control these robots really does matter a lot. These custom finger position sensors that I made were my first attempt. They work by measuring the position of these sliders, and it sends that position over Bluetooth to the suit. So as I move my fingers, the arms on the suit would move as well. The idea was that each finger would control a joint in the arm, so you can control the entire arm at once. This button would toggle between arms, so I can control all 4 arms with only 2 sensors. Even though these sensors didn't work super well, they did work just well enough to get one super epic Doc Ock montage. How cool is that? I mean, come on. Alright, so what was the problem with that hand controller anyways? Each arm on the suit has 3 different joints, and each joint can be controlled from 0 to 180 degrees. But my fingers really only have 10 or so different angles they can go to, which means that each finger position corresponds to about 20 degrees of arm position, which is very inaccurate. So it turns out that my fingers just aren't precise enough to control the suit with. And this sort of makes sense, because fingers just aren't very good at being arms. But you know what is good at being an arm? Your arms! This new system tracks my arms using a camera and some pretty sick machine learning software. This camera in the front figures out where certain key points on my arms are, but there's one small problem. This camera can only see in 2 dimensions. So in order to see in 3 dimensions, I added a second camera overhead and then combined the data from those 2 cameras together. Those 3D arm points can then be used to get the arm angles to send the Doc Ock arms to. Additionally, the claw's closing and opening is controlled by if my hands are open or closed, and this new system works much better. You can see how each Doc Ock arm is kind of following my arm as I control it. You can also see that each arm has a delay after I move my arm before it responds. That's caused by the time it takes for the signal to travel from my computer to the suit over Bluetooth, and then for the arms to respond accordingly. I also slowed the arms down a little bit from earlier, so they wouldn't self-destruct, which had been happening in the past. It's not a perfect system, but for what I had to work with, I'm very happy with how this turned out. The right one's just inspecting that drill very carefully. What are you? Stationary arms on a chair are cool and all, but to wrap this up, I wanted to do one big final test of the suit. But first, after working on this project for over 2 years, I had a little bit of fun.
That's a tedious man.
How are you today, sir?
I'm here for Doc Ock. I'm here to see Doc Ock. Is he?
Doc Ock. No,
Yeah,
he couldn't make it in today.
Yes, he told me to meet him here.
So what do you do to test a 4-armed robotic suit? Well, as a nerd, I would say there Obi-Wan way to do it.
Hello there.
General Kenobi!
Hello there. General Kenobi! You are no match for my mini arm! Oh, I'm dying. These arms aren't quite as good as I wanted them to be, but at some point you have to just call it good enough and move on. I have plans for a version 4 of the suit that doubles the number of joints per arm and would include hydraulic lower arms that could lift me into the air, similar to how these bucket lifters work. But before I do that, I should probably get more than 10 subscribers. So if you could subscribe and share with all your nerd friends, it would really help out a lot. So yep, I'll see you around.